Right, so we move on to disc 5 now, and the first one, the Challenge of the Tiger. I think you can probably guess on this one.
Is it Two Tits Up by any chance?
Oh shit!
Holy nudity!
Two Tits Up.
Yes.
I mean, this for me put Bruce Lee firmly on the map. I was kind of not seeing the fuss, so I was like, I don't get it. And then I put on this one with him and Richard Harrison paired up, and I thought, this is just a good film. This is just a good, solid Hong Kong movie with great action, great stunts. There is a plot I can follow. It looks like it's been made up, it's gone long, but who cares? The flow of it was. I would have personally taken out the topless tennis at the beginning, which I know you're going to think it's Leon. What, has he lost his mind? What the fuck is going on?
Are you feeling all right, man? What's going?
Yeah, no, but I think that slowed down the film for me. But that being said, I'll still give it 2 thumbs up. I do enjoy boobies, so you know if they're going to be there, I'm going to enjoy them. That's fair dues. And we've also got Conan's mum in this film.
Oh yes, yeah.
I'm like, wow. And I don't know what they were doing with her in this, because in some scenes she looked like a hag, and in other scenes she looks drop dead gorgeous. So I'm like, who's the different person on the makeup that day? I really don't know. But this, like, yeah, it was so fun. I felt the chemistry between the two guys. I can't wait to watch this one again. I just thought, brilliant film. And yeah, really did make me think Bruce Lee does have something special. Moving on to the Cameroon Connection. Anybody want to hazard a guess on this one?
Is there 3 thumbs up? Because that's all you.
Cameroon Connection, what it does. Yeah, it's a thumbs down. I mean, it's sad because I watched this one after the Challenge of the Tiger, and I was thinking, great, I'm on the Lay train, and what the hell happened? I mean, a big part of it for me, a huge part of it, is the sound in this film. Yeah, when they're fighting, the sound effects are so lame, and I find that it makes a massive, massive difference to a fight scene if you don't get the fight sounds right, and they didn't have the fight sounds right in this. So it really took me out of the movie. What I did like, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this could have been one of the best, but it wasn't.
Wow.
Because the picture quality on this was like outstanding. Yeah, I think if this was a French film, they've really taken care of it. It felt like it had production value there. It just felt like it had no direction. Bruce Lee's acting in it was actually quite good. I thought, can we ruin shit on the stream? Are we going to assume people have seen these?
Oh yeah, it was lots of spoiler alerts. I'll say it at the beginning or something. Yeah.
Okay, if not,
when
just cut me out.
Yeah. Go for it.
I just thought Bruce Lee being a villain in this one, ultimately, he reminded me of like Jet Li's turn in Lethal Weapon 4. And I did like that, but this is the biggest missed opportunity for me, this film. I think with the right person in charge, they could have made something good out of it. And as it is, it was pretty lame, and I didn't go much on the car chase. I thought it looked like they were driving Miss Daisy around, it's, you know, the hell. So that's all I got to say on this. It's a very split disc, good and bad. And I'll hand over to Sean.
Yeah, I only saw one of these. I saw Challenge of the Tiger, which I very much enjoyed. I love that Bruce Lee directed this one, and he knew what he was doing. He knew what he wanted in his film, and he went balls to the wall and just made a. It's very espionage-y. It's almost Bond-esque at times.
Yeah,
and I really appreciated that. It's got a very interesting vibe, as the kids say. And I'm a guy who likes sleaze. I like a bit of sleaze in my cinema, and I found this to be kind of I don't know, that the sleazy parts in it kind of added something. It added kind of a fun to it, which I really, really appreciated. I mean, yeah, it was over the top, and I agree. The tennis scene is kind of like superfluous to everything else. It's like, what the hell is going on? But you know, I get why he did that. And also, I just like that, you know, Richard Harrison has a sex scene because, you know, he looks like a porn star. So I always appreciate that. But the overall vibe of the film is very fun, very enjoyable. I honestly think it's some of Bruce Lei's maybe best fight work. And of course, you got Huang Zhangli popping up. So who can complain about that? I mean, Huang Zhangli's a beast, and once again, he's on screen and shows why he's one of the best on-screen fighters. He's great in this film, and overall, I think this is one of the better ones on the set. Again, not quite my best, but I think it's just a good time, and that's what I appreciate about this film. It's one I will revisit. Maybe not top tier, but it's definitely one I can go, oh, you know what? I feel like a fun film, and I'll stick it on. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. Thumbs up.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Over to Johnny.
This is my kind of version of what Fu said earlier on, but this is, for me, is the best and worst on the set. So I really love Challenge of the Tiger, and I hadn't seen it before. So there's also the kind of extra treat of going into a film for the first time. Nice. But I thought, like, Bruce Lee directing himself, his choreographer a lot faster, a lot harder hitting, and just really pretty effectively filmed. So I think, aside from his sort of abilities as a martial artist, showed himself as being a pretty capable director. I would like to see more of stuff that he'd done. I think there was a lot of fun to it. It didn't take itself too seriously. I thought Richard Harrison's probably one of my favorite Richard Harrison performances in this. He was sometimes a little bit sort of stilted in the Shaw Brothers stuff he did, like so in Boxer's Rebellion and Marco Polo. He's just sort of there. Where he seemed to actually be having a good time here, and seemed to kind of just be sort of leaning hard into his sort of pretty useless as a sidekick, but he was almost like, it's like proto Kurt Russell in Big Trouble in Little China in a way, where he's like maybe a more effective ladies man than Kurt Russell was in Big Trouble, but he didn't really do much to help Bruce, really, particularly other than usually having to kind of be saved by him. There's maybe one or two times that he like did that last minute punch or wrapped his legs around someone's throat or something. But yeah, I think the double act between the two of them was actually pretty good fun, right? I think they played off each other really well, and whether that was kind of pushed into more through the dub, I don't know, but they actually had a degree of like kind of bromance chemistry between the two of them that I thought worked pretty well. Awesome seeing Huang Zhangli here. So yeah, all around, just I think maybe the film that I enjoyed the most from the set, actually. Oh. Cameroon Connection, way at the other end of the spectrum. That was a tough sit, right? I found it like painful in places by how kind of like do a second take, man. Like with some of the shots that he did, I don't know if he was just short of film stock, but some of the performances from some of the other actors who are circling around our kind of main director, actor, writer, clearly a vanity project for Alphonse Benny. I thought it didn't really work. It didn't connect for me at all. I don't know exactly what they were trying to do with the story, particularly. I didn't really.
Dragon, did you catch but like you just mentioned, the people in the background looking at the cameras a lot? Did you catch that? That's like day one of film school, right?
It was really painful, but it did have one of the more entertaining special features for me. That there's a documentary on the life of Alphonse Benny that's better for me than the movie. So I much more enjoyed watching a bunch of people enthusiastically speak about his career and finding out what other movies he'd done. Don't know if I'll go out of my way to track any of them down, but I thought that was a really well put together, it's about 50-minute long or so, dive into his sort of life and career. That was way more entertaining than the movie. But I doubt very much if I'll ever select Cameroon Connection from that disc menu ever again, but I'll absolutely watch Challenge of the Tiger a bunch of times. I thought, like, great, I have no problem with the nudity, but I thought weirdly we had better boobs in The Dragon Lives Again, like one of the King's wives, the younger one, I thought was maybe
she was tight, wasn't she? She was tight.
Yeah. So that would be like, so maybe not best boobs, but maybe gets the most boobs award. But yeah, that was me.
Right. Before we hand over to Caleb, I'd just like to say I haven't paid Johnny to back me up. That's just pure chance. And Caleb, when you start, I think you should just cover Cameroon Connection this time round. I'd like a 15-minute monologue with no swear words in, please. Go.
I was actually, right as it was getting closer to me, I was thinking maybe I should just talk Cameroon first to get that out of the way because I don't want to, I don't want to end my little piece right here. I don't want to end it on a down note. So I'm gonna, I want to end in a positive way. So yeah, I'll probably just go ahead and talk Cameroon Connection first, and then we'll get to challenges.
Yeah.
Which Jason kept trying to convert me over to the Save It for the Stream tribe with this with this set. But whenever it came to Cameroon Connection, I could not hold it in. Like this little group chat that I have with Jason and Leon, I could not hold it in with Cameroon.
He just came.
Yeah, I had to let it all out, and so yeah, anyway, here it goes. Cameroon Connection, the worst fucking thing on this set. I hated this goddamn movie so much. It was, I wanted to like it because it had Bruce Lee. I'm a huge fan of this guy. But the whole movie, I'm like, where is Bruce Lee? Oh, there he is. 30 seconds later, and he's gone. And they do that probably 4 times in this movie. I will give it one positive thing, and yes, you may be surprised to know that I do have a positive thing to say about this, and that is I like the twist at the end where Bruce Lee was the killer. Mm-hmm. I thought that was cool. I did not see that coming. I was like, okay, I didn't think that they were going to go down that road. I thought that was interesting. Even my wife thought that was interesting. She hated this movie too, and she thought it was interesting how Bruce Lee turned out to be the bad guy. She was thinking like, man, what if Bruce Lee himself was ever the bad guy? I don't know if Bruce Lee's ego would have allowed that, but it's an interesting idea. Yeah, I thought Bruce Lee being the villain was interesting. It was a cool thing I didn't see coming. Other than that, no, this movie sucks. It's just a bunch of farting around with the most uninteresting cast. I did not like any of these people. I guess they try to like get some sympathy out of the audience by having Alphonse Benny's character having his son get kidnapped and stuff like that. I didn't even care. Take him. I didn't even care. What really drove me crazy was that whenever he realizes that his son has been kidnapped, Bruce Lee's character is like with him, and Benny's character is trying to, decide what he's going to do because his son's been kidnapped. And Bruce Lee asks him, he's like, hey, whatever you need.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Oh no! The director of Cameroon Connection got him.
Yeah, I think so.
Hang on 1 second. Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Yeah, lost it again.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought I had to bring you back in, but you're back.
Okay. Yeah,
you could say you lost your Cameroon connection.
Yeah. Yeah, lost my Cameroon connection. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what happened. It just blacked out again. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So Benny's character son gets kidnapped, and Bruce Lee tells him, hey, whatever you need, I'm here to help. Just tell me how I can help you. And Benny's saying, he says something like, you can't help me, or there's nothing you can do. And that drove me crazy because whenever he's like, oh, there's nothing you can do to help me, like the hell there isn't. Like, let him do something. He's done absolutely nothing in this movie. Like, so I needed him to do something, but yeah, and then even like the finale where we see Bruce Lee throw down a little bit. It wasn't enough. It just was not enough. Can
I ask you real quick? Even though you liked the reveal where Bruce Lee was the villain or whatever, wouldn't you say it was pretty anticlimactic? Like he just kind of pointed a gun like half dead or something. They seemed really like half asleep in that scene,
I definitely didn't see it coming, but yeah, I do see what you're saying in that they didn't really go all out with the reveal. It wasn't like a big thing. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, Bruce Lee was like just pointing like so relaxed, like pointing his gun.
Yeah, but it was not fun. I did not like that movie. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say that it shouldn't have been on this set. Put it on there. Because again, we're getting the best of both worlds with this genre. So anyway, yeah, that was not fun. I will never watch this movie again.
Let it go, bro. Let it go, brother.
Yeah, I'll never watch this again. I can't wait to never talk about it again either. Yeah, anyway, we're done with that. Challenge of the Tiger, loved it. Challenge of the Tiger was so much fun. Jason has wondered recently why Bruce Lee is my favorite. This is why. This movie is why. Because,
cool.
Yeah, because when I watched this movie, I was thinking this movie should not work. Everything about this movie should not work because it's just the plot is just weird. They're trying to get the Krabby Patty formula or whatever it is, and and then there's just like all the really weird nudity and stuff like that. Richard Harrison's character, I didn't really like him. He was just strange, But Bruce Lee, I said this to Leon and Jason too, is that Bruce Lee is like the shining beacon of hope in this movie. Anytime he is on screen fighting, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so fun. He's got a crazy intensity with him. This movie is just why I love Bruce Lee so much, because anytime he's on there fighting, he is kicking so much ass. He's so fast and so powerful. Even when he fights the bull, like even I love that. Like I love when he gets in the bull ring with the bull, and I love he just like takes his shirt off and he's like gets in that pose. He's like getting ready to throw down with this bull, which is just insane. And Huang Zhongli is a great addition. I love him as the villain. I love whenever Bolo fails his mission and then Bolo returns to the base or whatever, and Huang Zhongli is there and he says you do realize what the penalty is for failure, right? Like it's death, And so I love that. I love Huang Zhongli and Bruce Lee's fight at the very end. That's a lot of fun. I do like this one bit with Richard Harrison where Bruce Lee's fighting everyone. Richard Harrison's just getting his ass kicked, and I love how Richard Harrison pointed out or something like he's like telling Bruce Lee he's not going to walk in front of him because he keeps getting beat up, so he's not going to walk in front of him. And so Bruce Lee's like, okay, fine, I'll go ahead. I'll take point. And then so they start walking, and then even though Richard Harrison is behind him, some people just come in and attack him. Like Bruce Lee doesn't even get hit. I love that. That was so funny. It was a very funny little piece right there. But yeah, Challenge of the Tiger was a lot of fun, and that that movie is why I love Bruce Lee so much.
Cool.
Excellent. Right, Jace, just before we go back to you, I'd like to ask a little favour. I forgot to mention the French girl in the bath and Cameroon Connection. So if you could give her a little mention when you get to that, I'd be grateful.
For sure. So Challenge of the Tiger, I loved it. I hadn't seen that one before, and I just thought a lot of echoing what you guys said. I think this is how much I love Bruce Lee when he separates from Bruceploitation. This is Bruce Lee separating away from Bruceploitation, and his directing is solid. And Bruce Lee, like if you watch Bruce's Deadly Fingers, I really like that, but his acting is so primitive and he's just like wooden in it. And this, he's just smiling, and him and Richard are getting along great. And like their chemistry is a mixture of like, why do they have chemistry? And it's good. Like it doesn't really make sense. They like everyone will be dying. They're just cracking jokes the whole movie. It's like a separate comedy that's not lining up with like what's going on, But yeah, so I think like it works as a really funny buddy movie. The two of them, Bruce Lee, I'm trying to see what else I wrote here. His acting's better, like I said. The nudity is so funny because they try to set it up like a James Bond thing, and you could just have like 20 seconds of it, but man, do they really need to drive home that this guy has like the most ridiculous life like ever,
He's kind of channeling Roger Moore a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, times a million. And so I love that one. Bruce Lee's fighting is phenomenal, like you guys have said, and it was really good. It was really good, and I just can't believe it is kind of like they got away from Bruceploitation but went to full exploitation. The nudity, I didn't mind like the amount of it because it made it just, that would be something in a grindhouse. Everyone would be just cracking up like this is still going on. Like some girl just walks and you can tell they just opened her top for no reason, like by the tennis courts, like, just like, okay, walk towards me just and then Cameroon Connection. Yeah, it was rough. It was a funny inside joke with Kaleb and stuff, but yeah, I don't really get what the point is. It doesn't make sense. Like I don't know.
Watch the special feature. That at least puts it in context, because I think it's maybe too unfair of me to dismiss it as a vanity project, but I think the whole deal for Alphonse Benny was to try and kind of go back to Cameroon and try and actually become an action star over there, because all the other movies he made were in France, right? And so he took over his French crew and went back to Cameroon to really try and give them an action cinema industry, right? And maybe it wasn't successful, but I think that's why I say that 50 minutes kind of but that dive into his career, really interesting, and actually made me a little bit more forgiving of the film. Still not going to make me go back to it again, but anyway, sorry. On you go.
No, that helps me though, because I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, Alphonse, like I could see his potential. He has the looks to be an actor, but he just seemed so deadpan the whole movie. The plot is so bad. Like anyone knows, like if you watch a Shogasugi movie, they'll just kill his whole family. They make him need to go into this revenge mode. This is like some woman was killed, and if he was going crazy over that, you'd be like, why does he care so much? But he just seemed half asleep to me the whole movie, just walking around. And then Bruce Lay seemed interjected, and he seemed like it didn't make sense, like why he was in the movie in a way. And I thought the ending, like I said, is just a cool reveal, but the way they revealed it was just didn't give me much of a twist. It was like, wait, how? I don't know. I was lost at that part, kind of, like, and then what else? It was just a rough one, but I think it looked cool to see Cameroon. Like Dragon said, it's filmed really well, or maybe Leon said that it's filmed real good, but I just feel that it just didn't really make sense why, like his purpose was lost to me. So why would the audience care, Yeah. And then Leon liked the French girl. Got to get that in. So. All right. So Kaleb, did you want to run through this?
Yeah. So my turn, I guess. Anyway, I'm glad that I got this part of the set. But also a little disappointed with a couple of them. But anyway, yeah, we'll move on to disc 6. Yeah, so disc 6 we've got Super Dragon and we've got The Dragon Lives. I hated both of these movies. I did not like either of these. I don't even know which one to start on, because I really didn't like either of them. I mean, okay, I'll start with Super Dragon. So Super Dragon, Jason. Oh, where'd Leon go? And I'll go ahead and talk Super Dragon first, because Dragon Lives was kind of interesting. Super Dragon, what is up with Bruce Lee's hair in that movie? Like he's got this.
I can answer. What it was is when they watched the movie at the end, they thought that there was such little action. This is from the Clones cast, I believe. They brought him back to do some fight scenes, but I guess he had cut his hair so different than the other things, the other parts of the movie, so they had to just stick a wig on him, I think.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very common thing that happens in the movie industry. They film a movie, then they got to go back and do something, but the actor looks so different now that they gotta do something really stupid, like put on a wig or some makeup or whatever to go back and reshoot. But anyway, the fight choreography in Super Dragon is not good. Again, I was prepared for most of this because Jason had given me, kind of the rundown of this movie and where Bruce Lee was in his career at that point. Because that first fight scene where he fights the two guys after doing the newspaper run, he fights those two guys. Oh. There's a lot of just really slow, clunky choreography, while the other guy's just kind of standing back there, just waiting to run in. And they always joke in these kinds of movies about how they're the heroes fighting a large group, but they run in there one at a time. This movie, or this fight scene in particular, does not do them any favors right there, because you're just proving their point right there. And then the biggest issue I had with this one was the amount of focus they put on the I'll say alleged affair with Bruce Lee and Betty Ting. I don't take sides in that whole thing. I don't know the story. I don't know what happened, but I do not like how much time they devoted to that. I don't think they made Bruce Lee very likable in this movie either. Mm-hmm. Like when it came to that whole aspect, because he's got his wife, but then there's Betty Ting on the side, and then he asks his wife for a divorce when she comes back and stuff like that. It was also kind of strange how Bruce Lee talks so much in the film, like talks so much about how much he hates America. Like his like there are like several scenes where he's like I hate it here. This place is so terrible. I want to go back to Hong Kong. And then Linda is like, okay, I won't stop you. Go ahead,
That was so odd, like how she didn't care about anything. Their chemistry, I'll say more in mine, but that was so odd. That was so odd.
They really hammered in the whole thing about how much Bruce hates America and wants to go back to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is his home. The Hong Kong people are his people, that sort of thing. I did not like that. They didn't make Bruce very likable, and I didn't like all the time they devoted to the whole affair and everything like that. It just was just not a really great movie. I don't think it holds up. It didn't, and I'm not saying that we should paint Bruce Lee in like a good light, because Bruce Lee was just a man, and but it doesn't. I don't think it just did a really good job of kind of exploring Bruce Lee as a person or anything like that. So yeah, Super Dragon was disappointing. Dragon Lives, also disappointing, but I had high hopes for it at first. Like whenever Dragon Lives started, I was like, okay, this movie might actually be a lot of fun because we get the fight in the opening where he's we got all the different styles. We got the boxer, we got the karate guy, we got the wrestler, sort of thing. We got all that going on. Bruce Lee jumps in there and he fights the boxer. I thought that was great. It was good fun. But then like halfway through the movie, they go back to the whole affair thing with Betty Ting. And I told Jason this last night. Again, my wife was watching these movies with me. When we finished Super Dragon and then started Dragon Lives, my wife was like, didn't we just watch this?
Yeah.
They focus so much on that. And this movie, Dragon Lives, is just crazy. And I don't mean that as in like a fun crazy or, everybody says that about certain movies. It's, oh, this movie is insane. It's bonkers, whatever. This movie is straight up crazy. Like, it is insane. Bruce in this movie is a crazy person. This guy is nuts. Like all the time that he's in there training and Lyndon bang on her, Bruce, come out of the training room, and you're crazy. Like, we need to call his master. Like, get him over here. He's losing his mind. And then the ending. Oh my God, I hated that ending. The ending was so weird, really long. It's sex scene with earthquakes and thunder and lightning and trees breaking and like limbs falling down and glass and plates breaking and all of that. And then that really maniacal laugh with Bruce Lee at the end, and then it cuts back to the tournament at the beginning, and you just kind of get that really weird, Bruce, like at the end. Yeah, that movie scared me a little bit.
That's like the last thing. It says the end, and you hear going, Bruce, Bruce, Bruce. Did you catch that? Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Disappointing. I did not really like either of these movies, and Dragon Lives was a letdown. Mm-hmm. So yeah. That's all I have to say about that one.
Cool.
Yeah, Leon, take it away.
Okay, so can anybody guess what I'm going to give for Super Dragon?
I'm going to say thumbs down.
I imagine a thumbs down. Oh, maybe in the middle. Maybe I'll say in the middle.
I think thumbs down.
Oh, okay, thumbs up. Wow.
Thumbs up.
I want you guys to promise to still be friends with me after this list.
Always.
You're unpredictable, right. Leon. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, again, I like films that give stories. I do like biopics. And when it comes to Bruce Lee biopics, there's been so many throughout the ages. We have Dragon with Jason Scott Lee, Birth of the Dragon, the third thing, which I absolutely love. So going back to some of these early entries, it's kind of interesting for me because they said that they marketed these films mainly for like a US audience. Now, the angle they're coming at, to me, it feels more like it's catered towards a Chinese audience, with, not like in The Foreigners, portraying Bruce with his Chinese girlfriend rather than his wife. So I remember when I was at school, everybody had like a different Bruce Lee theory, a different myth about him, a different way he died, a different way he lived his life, a different way he trained. And you can just, I get the vibe that everybody's dad was hiring out these films at the video shop, and then they'd be telling their son like they were the Bruce Lee expert. And then I kind of piecing it together and thinking, that's why my mate thought this, or that's why my friend thought that.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, it really was of an interest to me, this. And with fight scenes in biopics, I'm a little bit more forgiving because we're not going into fantasy kung fu land. It's supposed to be portraying real life. And because the fight scenes are a little bit shorter, I thought that could be more of a real situation. And although he's nowhere near the level he is later on, I grant you that. But what is there works for me in the context of this movie. I do like that they go into the Betty Ting Pei stuff. I know it's really controversial, but I'd like to see what was in people's minds back then. And, you know, this was a way of exploring what people thought. And it's crazy to think now that all these theories were out there and that people gave credibility to a lot of it all. But also to think that Bruce Lee came from this to go to where we've already seen him go. I just find it really interesting. I do like a biopic, even a bad biopic. I just like to see different people's takes on Bruce Lee because I love Bruce Lee and I want to see what everybody was thinking. So this is a real curioso for me. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's not the best film in the box, not by a long way, but I do think Bruce Lee's charm and charisma shines through a little bit for me in this one. As for the other one, The Dragon Lives, any thoughts on that one?
Thumbs down
What
on that
I
one.
might put?
You
I
already
think I got
down.
thumbs up too, you sadist.
Yeah, you accidentally showed Dragon Lives
We did.
earlier.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, thumbs up. Oh, geez. All right.
It's a thumbs
Oh,
up.
nice one.
I really
Leon,
enjoyed this one.
I thought you loved me, man.
I'm sorry, Caleb. I'm sorry to do this.
Leon's a certified bisexual too, Sean.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very much a bisexual. I love this guy, and I think a lot of it is to do with the Enter the Clones documentary.
Yep.
I really felt like I bonded with him on that, and you know, I mentioned it when I interviewed David Gregory, that it seemed like these guys have been through so much and that their stories were so interesting, particularly Bruce Lee to me. I felt like he'd been dealt a harsh hand, and I felt really sad for him that a big part of his life he was doing something he didn't really want to do. And again, so looking at him having to portray Bruce as Bruce in these films, I find it really, really interesting. I think he did, quite an admirable job. I don't think for me, none of the other clones feel as Bruce as what Bruce Lee does. And so he gets the thumbs up for that. I think his performance is good. The martial arts isn't the best, clearly, but I do enjoy the different takes on it. And again, I could turn to this any day. I really enjoy these things. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. Please don't hate me for it, guys. I just enjoy it.
Awesome.
No,
I like it.
Never did, but that was a wonderful way of finding a silver lining.
Yeah.
And I didn't see, right? So hats off to you for doing
That was really well put. That was awesome.
Yeah, I definitely admire what you're saying. I really do. I get it. And in my opinions on the movie aside, I love Bruce Lee too. Like, he's not my favorite Bruce Lee, he's still my favorite, but I love Bruce Lee. I don't think these movies are indicative of him in any way. I still think he is fantastic. Like, he was not my issue with these movies, and I said that to Jason. Even whenever it came to like Super Dragon and Dragon Lives, my problem with these was not Bruce Lee. It wasn't him. Like, it was everything else. I thought Bruce Lee was great, but yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying for sure.
I'm just going to go out there and say this: Bruce Lee is my comfort blanket.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of talk about these two together because I watched them back to back and they're blending in my mind, a bit. Yeah. Super Dragon. It's cool. Is like the first Bruceploitation film, more or less. And to see Bruce Lee come on the scene, to see what he became, I want to see like the earlier periods. The fighting is very plotting. Not even just in the fighting, like the directors, you could see the feet missing the face like this much, and it's like, wow, anyone knows, put the guy's head, the back of the head, I don't know, It's a good example of, like I said, his fighting, like how it improved so much over the years. And then, and like I said, I'm getting confused with the two of them because they blend a lot in my mind. Dragon Lives and Super Dragon. Dragon Lives, the separation for me is the mustache, which I thought was an interesting touch. I don't know. Did Bruce Lee ever have a mustache?
Yeah, beard. He definitely had a beard.
Yeah, no, okay, there are pictures of him. There are definitely pictures of him out there where he had like a mustache or a beard or something like that. But I do think it was kind of strange too how he's like filming movies with a mustache, because that never happened as far as I know.
Right. So
you ever watched Mr. Fury? Clearly, he had a mustache.
And the Long Beach tournament was just brutal. And I thought it was funny in that one. They were trying to show some connection between him and this police officer. And maybe there was supposed to be a language barrier if you watch the Chinese version. But boy, did they have a strange relationship. They'd see each other and they were like, oh, like they were just doing the oddest things together. And I think the cop was spying on him when he was doing Kung Fu or something earlier. It was a very strange relationship. But yeah, I thought that was a little odd, but it kind of worked. And the ending, like Kaleb said, was just bonkers. It was so strange. They're trying to play into the idea of the curse maybe of Bruce Lee and how he lost his mind, and his obsession with the Kung Fu is why, like how on the John Ben documentary where they said when he saw him, he was so thin. So like, I think maybe this is playing into the later period of his life where he's fighting these robot machines, and Bruceploitation loves to get these machines that he fights in these. You'll see as you go along. But yeah, it was okay. I thought it was decent. I like it historically to see Bruce Lee's trajectory, but as two films, I would not show anyone these for Bruceploitation, only in the context the show. Like if you show Rocky, or if you show, I don't know if you guys ever seen Italian Stallion, when Sylvester Stallone was doing like almost softcore porn before Rocky. I'm not going to say it's not that odd of a jump, but it's kind of like that type of thing. It's like if you see Arnold in Hercules in New York, that is this for Arnold. And then Conan the Barbarian would be like Fist of Fury 2, one of Sean's favorite, Fist of Fury 3, and Dynamo and that. And like, and to anyone out there who's not seen those ones, just know that this is Bruce and the Iron Finger is a good example of where it goes with Bruce Lee, But yeah, that's my take on them. I think they're decent, better historically as an experience. I'm not sure what story they're trying to tell of Bruce Lee. They make him unlikable a lot in the first one. The second one, they make him seem crazy. But I kind of like that to show different ends of the myth. They're playing into the myth. They're playing into the myth of him being crazy and the myth of, I guess, this being a womanizer, which they really drove home in Dragon Lives Again, the third leg. But yeah, that's my take on it.
All right. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, to me, this is the most throwaway disc in that it's the disc that I will probably never revisit. I think others have, a mix of films, but mostly a film that I'll go back to. But this one, not really. Now, with that said, I didn't mind Super Dragon, actually. I found it to be middling. Definitely not amazing, but middling. I like the biopic kind of angle that these go for. And I kind of like that they go negative rather than positive. Reason being, I've always had like some kind of Kung Fu Cinema account on the internet, whether it was Facebook, Tumblr, now Instagram. And I've always faced off against people that are just like, I will never hear a negative word against Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is the perfect human. He's always been Superman. He's just the most perfect example of a man. And I like where they actually dig into the fact that he wasn't that. Granted, they go too hard and they dwell on that too much. But I do like that. I do like when a biopic actually kind of reveals the more, I don't like to say negative, but like the darker parts of people's lives.
Humanize him.
Yeah, exactly. It humanizes them. We're all, no one's perfect. We all have issues in our lives. And I kind of like that. They hit it over the head a little too hard, granted. But I didn't mind that too much. The fights I've forgotten. These two films blend together, like Jason said. I have no idea which is which. I had to look at my Letterboxd account to go, okay, I kind of liked Super Dragon. I didn't like the other one. And I can't tell you why. I've got no idea why.
I do want to say, another peak Bruceploitation moment is that yard fight with two samurais showing up and his wife hands him nunchucks.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on? Why are there samurais? I mean, that cracked me up.
I do want to say real quick that scene that you just talked about, Jason, that scene made my wife go, we should start carrying a pair of nunchucks in the car.
Exactly.
Because she just pulled a pair out of the car and tossed it to him. So.
Just not a big fan of this disc in general. Super Dragon, it's fine. I won't rewatch it. I can't say I loved it. It's one of those films that I watched, and at the end of it, I was just like, okay, that was a film. Fair enough. And in 2 weeks, give me 2 weeks, and I'll forget everything about it, and I'll come back and go, did I actually watch that? Nothing really impressive about this disc. They could have taken it off this set, and it wouldn't really have bothered me at all. But I'm kind of glad that they put it here, because there are those biopic films about Bruce Lee, and there are old school ones, not just Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, not just Birth of Dragon. There are actually old school ones featuring Bruceploitation actors. So I like that they're giving you the full smorgasbord of what Bruceploitation represents. I appreciate that, but are those films good? No, it's not a big fan of these ones.
Yeah, I just wanted to add real quick. These movies, and I know, Sean, if you've seen Bruce Lee, the Man, the Myth, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of you other guys have seen it. Bruce Lee, the Man, the Myth is what they're trying to do with these movies. It's like the peak version of this. So Bruce Lee had found his footing, and the directors, it all comes together. So if you guys watch Bruce Lee, the Man, the Myth, you'll see, wow, that's what these movies were leading up to. It's like the great version of that.
Yeah, Bruce Lee, the Man, the Myth is like top tier Bruceploitation. It's
usually everyone's
fantastic.
favorite. Usually a lot of people's favorite Bruceploitation movie.
Yep. Yeah. It's good stuff. It features Ip Man's real life son.
Yeah, in the opening. Yeah.
Ip Chun. Yeah.
Ip Ching?
Is it Ip Chun or Ip Ching?
I'm not
There's
sure.
two in there, Ip Chung and Ip Ching.
I think it's Ip Chun, because I believe Ip Ching died, but I think it might be Ip Chun though.
Caleb's a good, you know, a lot of Ip Man stuff.
Not a whole lot.
Well, I just mean, I've only seen the first one. I know you've watched a lot of them.
Oh, I've seen all four movies a plethora of times. So
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I will say I haven't seen The Man, the Myth, so I can't say, but I mean, so far I feel like the Bruceploitation biopics, I feel like those might be kind of the low point of this genre. But again, I don't know. I haven't seen Man, the Myth. I need to see that too, to kind of actually have a better observation of it. But
yeah, I think that'll change your tune. It's weird they finally figured it out, and it's like makes it almost seem more exciting. Not that Bruce's life, but these ones seem downtrodden to me, and kind of like you're not sure why they're making Bruce seem this way. This makes Bruce seem just like badass,
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. Dragon. What do you think about this disc?
I'm gonna have to echo what Fu said. I think this, for me, easily the weakest disc on the whole set. A question that I never thought I'd find myself asking was, what would it be like if the Hallmark Channel made a Kung Fu movie? And now I've had it answered twice, and it's not good. Both of these were just straight up melodramas. I'm not traditionally a huge fan of biopics in general. I'd rather see a well-made, well-put together documentary. It kind of that scratches that same itch for me. I really do like Bruce Lee a lot. These are not kind of two of the movies of him. You can sort of tell he's very uncomfortable, and this kind of matches what he says in the documentary perfectly. These are the movies he's talking about when he's saying that he kind of doesn't want to sort of step into his shoes and try and be him, right? And it felt painful at times to me. And I think they took weird liberties with the story, kind of searching for some sort of positives. It's interesting that The Dragon Lives spanned his entire life to death. So they kind of went from literally when he was a kid right the way through, and tried to kind of hit the main beats in a really weird way, almost like you told a drunk guy what happened in Bruce Lee's life, and then 2 weeks later he recounted that information to someone else. It's kind of like a hazy version of the truth. It's very strange. And another one.
Could I jump in quickly with something that I just thought of there? I would have thought, to me personally, that playing somebody in a biopic isn't as bad as trying to play that person and pretend that you're that person doing a different film. Because so many people do biopics, like, you know, you've had the Queen, the Elton John, all that stuff, and I don't think any actors that, you know, play somebody else generally have a hang up. But when they're asked to be somebody else, I think that's a different kettle of fish.
But like the kind of the quality difference between this and Dynamo, and in Dynamo he does kind of basically have to sort of tread quite close to that territory again, but in such a different, fresher, more interesting way. I just kind of found both of these really overly melodramatic and pretty tough sits. As with the Cameroon Connection, special features way more interesting for me than the movie, right? And I think the actress who played Linda Lee in The Dragon Lives, I think Karen White Steadman, she's got an interview. That was great, right? She was really interesting, really engaging, and hearing about how she kind of got involved in the project and her speaking about Bruce Lee was really, really cool to hear. So I really enjoyed that. That's the thing that made that disc interesting for me. And I think if I do go back to it again, it'll be to listen to the commentaries, because I think she's on the audio commentary and I could see myself, like, I found her so engaging that I would go back and suffer through that movie again just to check through the audio commentary, because I think that would be a much more enjoyable experience than having to deal with the bad plotting. And again, 90 minutes felt like 4 hours going through this.
Versus the Linda in I'm sorry, the names. The Dragon Lives. What's the first one? I'm getting confused.
Super Dragon.
Yeah,
Super Dragon.
Super Dragon,
Oh my God, that's the worst Linda ever. And like, she seems like the worst chemistry, and like, it's just bad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't, again, I just don't really like how they told the stories with those. I think, like Sean was saying, it's better to know everything about that person instead of thinking nothing but positive things about them, or thinking nothing but negative things about them. And whenever I say I feel like they just kind of painted Bruce in too negative a light, I simply mean that I don't think they explored every aspect of him. That was either trying to make him look too good or make him look too bad. It was just like one or the other. There was no middle ground.
Right.
So yeah.
And coupled with Bruce Lee being like so green on the scene.
Yeah.
Too.
Like him is like still being inexperienced and clearly not wanting to do any of this.
Right.
Just wasn't a very fun experience. However, moving on, we covered everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before I move on. Okay, all right, cool.